we've been working a while on EV charging bootcamp. That's been coming together. We've had a year of good original content around EVs and EV charging, maybe even 18 months actually. And the channels have been really good, but I'm looking at now expanding this traditional channel of Primetime EV up to a new kind of broadcast destination for more EV type work. And I'm looking at making sure that we can give you, the listener, all the value that you probably want from live recordings and video content. I made a video last week about the Octopus energy changes, and some of you may have missed it because it went out on EV Charging Bootcamp, which has been my kind of test channel for about a year over what differences there are in electricity prices. I set up EV Charging Bootcamp to try and just understand how EV charging works, because I'd had a very interesting time trying to understand the EV charging landscape since I had come back from owning a Nissan Leaf, which I'd given up on in about 2016. Having had a G-Wiz before that worked very effectively as a kind of second small car in London. So the G-Wiz was great. The Leaf was much, much harder. It was a 90-mile early stage, second generation Leaf, had a very short range. And where we are today in 2025, coming into 2026, is a very different story, actually, in terms of what the market has and what it requires and what's going on with EV charging. So the bootcamp was actually more of a bootcamp for me than anyone else. I wanted to understand how level 1, level 2 charging worked, what was going on with CCS, what was the deal with what happened to CHAdeMO charging. And as the community built around it, I started to learn a lot more about how charging infrastructure works, because I no longer have an EV because it hasn't worked for me in the market. I don't have off-street parking, so I'm finding it much harder to find someone to use the car. So this is going to be a kind of broadcast channel. This is what I'm thinking, that we'll start broadcasting at 11 a.m. every Friday. And we will be talking to guests from all over the electric car industry, because I've built a great black book over 20 years plus of EV charging content. And there's a lot of good people out there with a lot to say. There's also a public that are very passionate about EVs and what's going on with electric cars generally. So I'm interested to see how that's going to evolve going forwards into 2020, 2030, when supposedly we've got this switch into zero emission vehicles. The Tories made an announcement over the weekend, it's Monday today, that they're no longer going to support the zero emission mandate. There's been too much confusion for the automakers and so on. So let's see what happens there. And if they get in, there's, at the next election, they will drop the zero emission mandate and not pursue it in the way that it's being pursued by the Labour Party at the moment. Charging's been really hard. I can see that there are some incredible companies out there that have been really challenged by it. So I'm going to, think more about how they can effectively market their content and make it a little bit more effective and better. So I would like to invite guests onto the show and talk to you on a more regular basis so that we can understand where you are and what you're doing and what kind of comments you guys are making. So I will be sharing my referral link to the streams and taking it from here going forwards, and hopefully it will become an opportunity for you, the viewer, to talk more about your frustrations around electric cars, EV charging, the mandate, the zero emission mandate, the price of public charging. There's so much out there going on, and it's a really interesting time. So I thought that this would make a better forum. I hope you enjoy it, and let's see how it goes. Cheers.